Hey there, kindergarten, Miss Hershey here, and I'm here with your circle painting project. So this is just a 1-week painting project, but it is going to be a little bit of a bigger project. So what I want to do is I just have this colored pencil. I'm going to start with a circle on my paper, and I know it's hard to see because it's somewhat yellow. I'm going to do another one. So these are not perfect, I'm not tracing. Just doing the best I can with my circles. So I just got 6 circles on there, and they're all sort of partial because this is a rainbow colored pencil. It writes in rainbow. That's what we're going to start with, and we're going to use watercolor today. So I have my watercolor here, and my cup is over here. So I'm going to start with my lightest color, which is yellow. I like to start with the lighter colors just because that way they don't get dirty. But that's totally up to you what color you want to start with. You do not have to use the same colors that I am using by any means. You can use whatever color you want. So I'm going to trace around each of my circles just to make this so that you can see them a little bit better. And that's how I know where they all are. Okay. So there I've got my yellow circles. And now what I want to do is I want to add another color. So you can do whatever color you want. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go with something that's a little bit further away on the color wheel. I'm going to go with a blue. So this is just a standard blue watercolor paint. And what I want to do is I want to go either inside or outside my other circle. So I'm going to go inside on this one. And then I'm going to go outside on this one. And if you're touching it, that's okay. If you leave a little white space like I just did, that's okay too. So to fill in that white space, I'm actually going to go ahead and go back in and do that one again. Just smooth it out a little. I'm going to go inside, outside. And you don't have to do every circle either. I'm going to leave those 2 without any blue. Gonna rinse, and then I think I'd like to go with a magenta. I really like magenta. It's one of my favorite colors to paint with. I don't have a lot of it around in my house or my clothes, but for painting I really like magenta. So I'm gonna do an inside. I think I want to do kind of a thick inside on that one. Okay, and we'll do an inside here. And an outside here. And we're just going to keep painting until we have completely filled in our paper. So really there's not much more as far as directions go. That's about it. We're just creating these colorful circles. It's more about practicing our ability to paint shapes and to keep a plan going. So I'm just going to keep painting. You can either fast forward to the end and see what I produce, or you can paint along with me. I'll leave that up to you, what you want to do. But I am just going to be kind of quietly painting for a little while here. And this one's the primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. So this one I think I might want to do an inside and an outside. We'll do 2 on that one. So once they start to touch each other, that's where it's going to get a little bit harder. But that's also why I try to move around the paper and do lots of different areas, because then each circle is getting bigger and it's not necessarily just adding to one. If you just do one at a time, you would never really know when to stop adding to it because it would just be getting bigger and bigger. So right here, this circle has now hit that circle next to it. So I have to decide what to do. I think I'm going to keep this one the way it is, and I'm going to start working on the other ones around it. So I'm not going to add any more layers to that center circle, and as I work, you'll see what I mean. Do a little green on this one. And they're also not staying perfectly round as I go. That's okay too. Sometimes when we make art, it evolves and changes, and that's okay. You can repeat colors. You don't have to use a color just once and not go back to it. So I'm going to go back to my yellow, and I'm going to show you what I mean about this circle here, I'm gonna pretend like this one's behind it. It's called overlapping. We've done a little bit of it in our landscape drawings this year, but we've not done any painting overlapping. So pretty much I'm just gonna stop when I get to that one because I'm done. This one I'm going to do another layer of yellow around the outside, make it a nice thick line of yellow. And because the paints are wet, they do bleed into each other. I think we've talked about that before during some of our videos. So you're seeing some nice bleeding happening here and up here. That's where those lines kind of get almost fuzzy looking. I really like when watercolor bleeds together. I think it's a really pretty effect. It's nice. So glad to see a little bit of that happening in my picture. If you use too much water, you're just going to end up with a puddle, so don't do that. So this is a red orange or a scarlet color that I'm using next. So I'm going to go here. I'm also getting a little overlapping of some of the colors, which can be nice to look at. Now this one over here is almost all warm colors. It's got red, it's got yellow, it's got orange, and then it's also got a little bit of green, but it's mostly just warm colors. So that's gonna start to get a little heavy looking, so I think I'm gonna have to add something else to that. Let's go to a cool color. I don't think I've used any purple yet. So I'm gonna do purple next. Let's do some purple around the outside. Remember, we said that green one is done. So these other circles are gonna kind of look like they're behind it. They do not have to be perfect at all. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do a purple around my yellow. Some nice complementary colors happening here. And maybe a little in here. Okay, and again, I've got some nice bleeding happening. So this is starting to look really pretty. I'm pretty happy with this. So I've got red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, and magenta. So I've pretty much got all my colors covered at this point. So now it's sort of just going to be filling in and using different colors that I feel like I need more of. Oops, bumped the camera. So I'm going to do some red here. This one's getting really big. I think I want that to be the last layer of this one because it's getting to be really huge. Don't love it. I'm going to do some red here, and on top of the blue a little. It gives us that sort of red-violet color. And I'm going to fill this one in with red in the center. Okay, then I'm just going to go through the rainbow again, so I'm going to go to orange now. Actually, orange. I used red orange before. I'm going to use orange this time, just standard old-fashioned orange. Okay, so like I said, that one is done, so let's do this one here. And it got a little bit bigger at the top, so let's go ahead and make that bigger all the way around. You can see the bleeding starting to happen down here too. That's totally fine. That's something that can be expected when you're using watercolor. Don't think that it's getting messy. That's just how watercolor is, unless you're very precise or you're using very little water and you're purposely trying to keep it dry. You're going to experience things like that. So don't think that you're doing a bad job. That's just what watercolor does. It's one of the things some people really like about watercolor is that you can't really predict what's happening with it. So just be happy with your colors and let them be happy with each other. Okay, and then I feel like I have a lot of yellow already, so I'm going to skip over the yellow and I'm going to go, I haven't done any blue-green. So this is a blue-green, also sometimes known as an evergreen color. It's a dark color. It's actually not coming out very dark. Some of these paints are very dry. They're not the best. So I've got my, oh, I keep bumping the camera with my face. All right, so here's this sort of evergreen color. And then I've got turquoise. I haven't used that one yet either. So now it's just kind of trying to go through and use any colors that I haven't used yet. And once you get to these smaller areas, you can just fill them in with a color if you want to. I'm not going to make you keep painting circles over and over again all day because that can get kind of boring. So there is your lovely circle painting activity. I will post a picture of this for you to look at, as well as this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and have a great day. Bye!